Sanjay Jha, let me begin by asking you. The Prime Minister is marketing India's growth story. He's meeting top CEOs, he's seeking investment in India, and Rahul Gandhi says kerosene has been sprayed across the country and one spark could burn our country. Merit in the BJP saying Rahul Gandhi is actually following a scorched earth policy.
Gaurav, I don't think I will agree with that. I'll tell you why. Firstly, we must recognize that India, or for that matter, any country lives in a society. We don't live in an economy. GST, FDI, collections of taxes, foreign portfolio investments, these have been actually happening in India since time immemorial, especially after 1991. But I think the other concern that we should have as citizens of a great republic, and I do hope that we will continue to remain a vibrant democracy, but there has been a democratic deconsolidation in India. And Rahul Gandhi, I don't support everything that Rahul says, but I do completely agree with him and concur with his view. And it doesn't matter whether he says it in London, India, or Tokyo for that matter. Okay. After all, in the age of internet and social media and literally real-time reporting, it's not as if he said anything there that the world has not been talking about. The truth is that today, as we talk, Gaurav, I can quote to you neutral reports like the Freedom Report, the Press Freedom Report, the Democracy Index, the Gender Disparity Index, the HDI Index, when India scores miserably. We are actually, as a journalist, you are aware of that there are people who are targeted, whether they're authors, intellectuals, NGOs, anybody who's critical of this government is seen as an anti-national. And I mean, this is an absurd, atrocious debate. So I think when you look at...
Let me bring in Professor Rakesh Sinha to respond to this.
Just one point, Gaurav, one last point. You see, when Rahul Gandhi talks of kerosene, maybe that's a very strong term. I would not have probably used it because it's very inflammable and combustible. But you cannot deny that today the kind of anti-minoritism that you're seeing in India is very dangerous and extremely disturbing. And I want to put these facts on the table and listen to what Sushant and Mr. Sinha have to say.
Professor Sinha, Rahul Gandhi's attacks are aimed not at the Modi government alone, but even institutions in the country. Congress party says they're fighting an institutional structure of the Indian state that has been captured by one organization. And as Sanjay Jha puts it, there is democratic deconsolidation of the country happening, and there is a very anti-Muslim approach. He's used the word anti-minority, but perhaps he's being polite and not saying an anti-Muslim approach being pursued.
There can't be bigger lie than what Rahul Gandhi spoke in London and what Sanjay Jha is interpreting and endorsing Rahul Gandhi's statement. There was only one occasion in the history of modern India when institutions were destroyed and attacked by the regime in New Delhi. That was the emergency. Before emergency and post-emergency, no such thing happened, and I think in future no such thing would happen because the Indian people would tolerate another emergency. Just give me one example. I don't require the Freedom Report from America or any religious tolerance report from European country. I am an Indian. We are Indians. We know what is happening around us. Should we depend on the colonial mentality? This is the colonial mentality that in the past we used to depend on what Europeans used to say about India, whether they are praising or they are criticizing. We have to be critical about ourselves. And I am giving just two examples. When Mr. Jaishankar said America that we are watching human rights in America, that is a response for the first time in the history of modern India. A foreign minister responded to the country which considers the master of the world. What you are talking about? Attack on the institution? What attack on the Tirumurti? Tirumurti was the institution meant for one prime minister. Is it a home? It is an individual. It is now prime minister. Deve Gowda ji is there. Gujral ji is there. Atal Bihari Vajpayee is there. All the prime ministers are there. If we are making inclusive and expanding our institution, then you say it is attack because it is being attacked on those people who who created that institution, groomed that institution, serving the interest and the philosophy and the vision of one dynasty.
Okay, so you say dynasty is being attacked. Dynasty.
You tell me one university. Okay. You tell me. Just tell me.
Dynasty is being attacked.
Prime Minister has waged the war against the dynasty.
Fair enough.
Just I'm completing because Sanjay has said so many things. I'm ending with two more statements. Prime Minister has waged a war against dynasty, not only for the Congress party and Rashtriya Janata Dal or any other party, but also inside the party. Among the meetings of the Member of Parliament, he said we cannot tolerate dynasty. If dynasty is right here, then why should we fight other parties? This is the democratic expansion.
Okay.
I think substantive democracy, the down of substantive democracy under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's era. And another thing about the Rahul Gandhi's statement. When he is saying something outside the country, he must think that there is a consensus in the country that we should not meddle our domestic politics outside the world. What message he is communicating?
Okay.
When Prime Minister of India is in foreign tour, Prime Minister Modi ji has not gone for a tourism. He has gone to serve the interest of India.
Fair
and
enough. Let me bring in Sushant Sareen for more on this.
Foreign policy is serving India's economic interest.
Fair enough, sir.